GB News halted for breaking news, announcement and humiliating blow for Labour. Eamonn Holmes paused his live broadcast for an urgent breaking news announcement. GB News host Eamonn Holmes was joined by his company presenter Ellie Costello as the show was briefly paused for a breaking report. In the last few minutes it was announced that unemployment rate has risen in the last 3 months. In the spring statement, Chancellor Rachel Reeves announced a series of measures to cut the welfare bill by making it more difficult for people to claim certain benefits. The hope was to get Britain working by incentivizing some of those not working to rejoin the labor force. About a quarter of the working age population, those aged 16 to 64, do not currently have a job. During Tuesday's edition of The Breakfast Show, Eamonn, 65, shared an update with viewers. He began, "News just in, unemployment was 4.7% last year and it rose to 4.8% in the 3 months to August. It was 4.7% in the 3 months up to July, so not much change there. But still a high figure unemployment-wise." The presenters were joined by deputy editor of Spiked Online, Fraser Myers, who reacted to the breaking news announcement. He commented, "It is a high figure. And also it is worth remembering that doesn't capture the full scale of unemployment. The amount of people who are fit, who are young, who are of a working population languishing on benefits. Many of those are not captured in the unemployment figures if they're claiming personal independence payments PIP." Fraser added, "And that is one of the key challenges that this government and future governments are going to have, getting people who really should be in work. Those people who have low-level mental health problems like anxiety and depression. Those types of people need to be working. It's good for them and good for the country to get them back into work. 4.7% is too high on its own terms but doesn't capture the full scale of the problem we have. Unemployment has reached a 4-year high as the UK economy continues to struggle. The jobless rate reached 4.8% in the 3 months to August, official figures show, the highest since between March to May 2021, when the nation was in the midst of a COVID lockdown." This morning's Emma Kenny recalls Eamonn Holmes' blunder that led to live legal mix-up. Exclusive. Former This Morning resident psychologist Emma Kenny has spoken about a time when she was forced into giving legal advice live on ITV thanks to a blunder by Eamonn Holmes. In an exclusive interview with The Mirror, psychologist and broadcaster Emma Kenny looked back on one of her funniest moments on This Morning where a mix-up Eamonn Holmes made resulted in her giving legal advice live on air. Emma said that the segment was meant to be about family and relationship tensions caused by inheritance disputes, but Eamonn's on-air introduction left viewers thinking it was a legal phone-in instead. "I think one of the funniest highlights of my time, which is hilarious looking back." Eamonn Holmes was on. "I loved Eamonn, got really well with him," she said. "Basically, I was meant to be doing a phone-in on difficulties in relationships and families if there was a will issue. Brilliant, not a problem, that's me, I can do relationships." But when the segment began, Emma realized the audience had completely misunderstood what it was about. Eamonn Holmes advertised it wrong. "And people thought it was a legal one, and I literally had to go up, and I sat there, and I had to give advice on probate," she laughed. "I don't know how I did it, but I'd been through probate with somebody I loved very much and I was, basically, the power of attorney. Fortunately, all the questions that came in were about things like power of attorney," she explained. "Honestly, I got off and somebody said, 'Are you a solicitor?' I was like, 'No, I have no idea what I'm doing,' but that was the funniest experience." Despite the on-air mishap, Emma described her time on This Morning as life-changing, adding that the show gave her a chance to connect with audiences beyond her usual work in crime psychology. She shared, "This Morning changed my life because I went from crime, which I'd always been doing, into light entertainment and mental health," she said. "It was great fun back then. I really enjoyed every minute of it. I never had a bad experience with any of it, it was just lovely." Recently the former presenter has been busy with a very different kind of challenge, raising 2 kids under the age of 2, while 52 years old herself. She welcomed her 4th child, Ella Gray, into the world in July 2025. Her other young daughter Etta Blue is now nearly 2. Although some might assume that it is quite overwhelming parenting 2 little ones at Emma's stage in life, she actually gushed that it has been a complete blessing. The TV personality told The Mirror, "I feel like I'm just doing life all over again. My whole experience of being a mum has just always been the best thing I ever did. Having the girls has been a complete blessing, and I feel like I'm doing youth all over again." Although her daughters are filling up most of her time now, Emma has managed to maintain her career in psychology, and just recently partnered with lastminute.com in a campaign to understand why the average Brit spends over 2 days per month procrastinating. The travel operator's research revealed that 32% of people in the UK avoid doing tasks they don't want to face for several months or even years. These can include anything from updating their CV to backing up devices or replying to texts. Meanwhile, 70% of the population even think they are good at leaving their to-do list till the last minute. Emma spoke about what she thinks might cause this behavior, explaining, procrastination isn't simply about laziness, it's often a coping mechanism for feeling overwhelmed. But while chronic procrastination can increase stress, the 14% who report better results under pressure may actually be leveraging their natural work rhythms. The key is distinguishing between productive delay and avoidance that creates genuine problems.